it's later than usual for us. I feel like we're burning the midnight oil a little bit with this late post. It's only 9 something here, but it feels like midnight.
Well, we went to bed at midnight last night because at 11 o'clock I got the wild idea to rearrange the dining room.
Oh, yes. That's why you see this new perspective
Yeah.
here.
So we now have my craft table in the dining room as our home office, and our dining room table only has spots for 4 now instead of for 6. So
But we're not welcoming any guests
no,
in
it's
here
true, so we're good.
anytime soon, so we're in good shape. Welcome to the Abide in Me challenge. It's just a challenge to read with us. So we're up to chapter 16 of Matthew, and we have kind of been diving into this each night, and hope that you're getting something out of it. But I know we are. So if nothing else, if nobody's getting anything else out of it except for us, it's still okay.
There we
It's
go.
still okay. But hopefully one of you are. But we're hanging out with this tonight, and we're having a good time. For those of you who don't know, this is March 23rd, and it is the start of Youth Week, or what now Youth Week is. So we were just meeting with our senior class and talking with them about that. So that was fun, and so we will enjoy the festivities. The festivity of Thursday night with them. But anyway, Matthew 16, here we go. We dive in. I always ask you to share first.
That's fine.
So we'll just keep going that unless you want me to share
No,
first. Okay. So Gretchen, ladies first, and we'll let Gretchen go first, and then we'll just see where the conversation leads for a few minutes.
Yeah, the passage or the verse that stuck out to me tonight was in verse 23 that he says, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for you're setting your mind not on divine things but on human things." And I feel like I say this phrase, "get behind me, Satan," really on trivial things. So like seeing Krispy Kreme donuts, like, get behind me, Satan, I don't want to eat that. Or like a really good deal sale that I get in my email, like, get behind me, Satan, I don't need to spend $100 on that.
True.
But I think I hadn't really thought about the second half of this verse, about that it is things that block your mind from divine things and make you focus on human things. So I don't know, it just struck me tonight to be thinking about, like, what are things in my life, or what are things as we're thinking about Lent that push me. Somebody just said Krispy Kreme is good. Yes, this is true.
That's
but
Jesse.
not a whole dozen. Or not every single time I have a meeting for work. But it just made me think about things, like, what are things in leading up to Lent? Like, we're supposed to be maybe cutting things in Lent that are blocking us from having a relationship with God. I think in Lent we think about cutting things like chocolate or caffeine or whatever, and to me I think that just makes people cranky. But what are things that we could take out of our life that block us from our relationship with God, or block us from divine things and make us instead focus on human things? So that's what stuck out to me tonight.
Yeah, and the interesting part of it is that the one that he's going to build his church on is the one who became the stumbling block at the time. Mm-hmm. So it can be any of us. It just, the ones who are growing in faith exponentially, and the ones who are struggling in it. All of us can be in the midst of that. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 2 things that popped out to me. One is in verse 15 when Jesus asks the disciples and just says, "Who do you say that I am?" First he asks, "Who do other people say that I am?" And then he puts it on them in more a personal approach and says, who do you say that I am? Not who does your parents say that I am, or who does your neighbor say that I am, but who do you say that I am? And I feel like there are times that I say, Jesus, you're not one that I can trust right now with what I do. Or Jesus, you can help me with this, or Jesus, you are this, and I think our actions speak into who we say Jesus is a lot of times, and how we engage with other people. The other thing that came up to me was excuse me, a while back when we went on our marriage retreat, we started every session with some music to help us like center ourselves, but also help us just to like release what was in our head and just focus on like what God was saying to us or speaking into us. And one of the songs that they played was called Waymaker. And so I've been listening to that. It's not a new song. I think it's getting more publicity, but it's not a new song. And I like the version by Leland, but whatever. But what I like about it is that he claims different things about who Jesus is. And he says, Waymaker is one of them, making a way for others. Miracle worker, promise keeper, and light in the darkness. And so, when you think about some of those words, there's some power in what those words mean for our lives in different stages. And so, when Jesus says, "Who do you say that I am?" I think it's a question to pose back to ourselves each day. Like, who have I said Jesus is today? So that sat with me. And then towards the end, it talks about how Jesus began to explain to the disciples like what was going to happen to him. And yet they still didn't get it, right? And I think about like, what is God explaining to me and showing me that I'm not getting? That I'm either like distracted from or too dense about or too stubborn to like see it. Yeah, I know you smirked at the stubborn part. But what is God explaining to us and sharing with us that we're missing? Because I don't want to miss, because I feel like God has so much greatness planned for us, and not greatness as in like notoriety or things like that, but just amazing things for our lives that maybe there's a point where God is saying, I want to explain something to you so to prepare you for this, and we're missing it. And so that sat out to me too, was that Jesus began to explain, but when we remember as we get into Holy Week that the disciples were just as crazed about what was happening to Jesus as we are with the virus, like it was chaos and the disciples scattered and didn't know what to do. And they went into social isolation. Hey, connecting those dots. You're welcome. But anyway, like there were some similarities in that, but Jesus had explained it, and yet it didn't sink in. So,
well, and if what's I think hopeful in that is that if Jesus's closest followers, the people who spent every minute with him, learning from him, seeing miracles firsthand, if they can't get it, like I think it's okay when to me that gives me hope that when I stumble or when I don't get it, that Jesus still has grace for us. That if he could have grace for those people who witnessed it, walked with him through it, that he directly taught, then how much, more grace does he have for us when we're, however many times removed from it, and we're, we've not seen him face to face. We've not seen or heard right from his lips those teachings.
Yeah, agreed. So I wonder, how are you saying who God is today and in each day this week? And also, what is God trying to explain to you right now and speak into your world? A lot's been taken out. A lot of the distractions been taken away. So out of what's been taken away, as you were talking about, like sometimes things get removed for Lent, or sometimes things just get removed because of other circumstances like we are in now with this virus. And so in the midst of that, maybe there's some free time to hear about what God's explaining to each of us. So some thoughts here and there. Check out the song; it's really good, and we're done. I think that was it for tonight. Tomorrow night is 17. We'll try to get on it a little earlier if we can. Though we're doing a student interview, so we'll see how early we can get into that. But thanks for tuning in, and love that you guys want to walk this road with us. And we've enjoyed it, and we'll keep enjoying it as we go. So any final thoughts? Any last words?
See you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Take it easy. We'll see you later. And thanks again. Bye.